Hey there, what's up, guys? It is PVM Josh 145 coming at you from PVM, and this will be the first video on Saros. I didn't really know what to do this video on, so I figured the best place to start is probably the question on a lot of people's minds. How difficult is Saros versus Returnal? What is the gameplay like versus Returnal? How do the two compare? I think that's one of the biggest questions on everybody's minds is how do these two games compare to each other in terms of difficulty, in terms of gameplay? I know a lot of other videos have probably covered this stuff, but I kind of want to cover it in my own way. We're going to go through here. We're going to check out, I'm going to try and show you guys some stuff and break down, what makes Saros Saros. What can you expect for it to be different from Returnal? What's kind of the same? I gotta stop doing that thing for you guys. I'm sorry. We're gonna figure out what you guys maybe might like about it, what you might not like about it. I'm gonna tell you guys what I like about it, what I don't like about it. It's still been a very great game in terms of the roguelike stuff that Housemarque brings us. I think it's been excellent. I have things that I love about it and things that it just, not the same from Returnal. So, you can definitely, there it goes again. I gotta stop doing the thing for these videos. It's alright. We're gonna get going here. Now, I have already beaten the game, so you guys will notice some things that I can do that you probably won't be able to do in your phase of the game right now. I have 0 modifiers on. That is one thing. If the challenge is not up to par for you, you can raise the challenge. Starting with this, first off, this is one thing. Pretty much every artifact in the game looks like this. Artifacts are like your passive items. There are no active items in Saros. I'll say that again, there are no active items in Saros. That's probably one of the first things from Returnal that's messed me up, is Returnal had active items to use, and I enjoyed using active items in the game. I enjoyed having that active item use. Now, over time, from playing Saros, I've gotten used to it. I had to realize that in Returnal, most of the active items that I used weren't really a big deal. The jumping springs, the Xeno Surge or whatever, the one that creates the spike out of the ground. A lot of them I didn't use too much. It was mostly just the life refills and the shield vials that I used a lot more. So these things are your form of passive items. You can see right there next to the menu, it has a slot that it'll tell me I'm filling up 1 right now, and we'll pick that up. Now, when you first start playing, you're going to need keys to unlock this. And the gold stones are where you're going to get most of your decent loot from. They're going to have weapons, power weapons in there. I'm good on that one. And these red ones, I believe, pretty much mostly have 2 different choices. You also start with 1 redraw. As you upgrade the skill tree, you'll get more redraws. So, again, we're here to, first off and foremost, try and discuss difficulty. Again, there are 8 biomes in Saros compared to Returnal's 6. There are 8 biomes compared to Returnal 6. And they do progressively get harder as you move on. They do progressively get worse. I feel like it took a while for the challenge to really step up for me. That might not be in your case, who knows? We'll have to see. Everybody has their own different, what they consider challenging. Weapons that's another thing, weapons that you're using will be advantageous to the situation or not. I will say that's one thing. In Returnal, you can find weapons that can pretty much serve every single biome. And then in Saros, you definitely find weapons that are more preferable to certain areas. This is the first biome right here. Most of the enemies here provide light challenge. In my opinion, even more so, less of a challenge than they were in the first biome to Returnal. This first biome is very easy once you get the hang of it. For the purposes of the video, I'm pretty much only going to stick around in this biome. I'm going to get some more content of some other biomes for you guys. I just don't really know what I'm doing right now. This is going to be one of my first videos, as you can see from all the ums that I've said. I'm trying to knock that off for you guys. So, see this weapon that I have, I've been trying to get platinum for the game, and this isn't one of the best, this isn't one of my favorite weapons. If any of you guys know how to use this weapon better, go ahead and type it down in the comments and let me know how am I using it wrong? You're supposed to shoot the progs into the enemy, and then you rev it like a chainsaw, and that pretty much gets rid of the enemy. Faster, slower, whatever, however you want it to do. See, I just caught 2 of them right there. You're gonna sit there, and it's similar to Returnal in the manner of certain enemies with like red shields. Red shields need to be smashed with melee. There is a grapple feature once you unlock it. In terms of difficulty though, I feel like the game starts to get a little bit more difficult at the Desecrated Fortress. I believe it's the 5th biome in the game. That's when I feel like the challenge started to step up for me a lot more. And by the time you make it to the last biome, I'm gonna try to avoid saying the names of all the biomes here for people who hasn't made it there. But by the time you make it to the last biome, you will see the challenge is there, most definitely. At least in my opinion, I feel like the challenge was there. Especially after you go and cut on some of the modifiers, you can definitely step up the challenge to quite a decent challenge in my opinion. I'll have to get a chance to show you guys. Let me pick up a different weapon here so I can show you guys some better gameplay. I don't really know what I'm doing with that Ripsaw Chakra. There's another redraw right there in case you guys that haven't gotten the grapple hook didn't know what's up there. It's nothing important. You get a lot of redraws in other places. Sometimes you'll get health, and sometimes there'll just be a chest there. The super fast run thing is very useful for backtracking. And actually, unlike in Saros, sorry about that, unlike in Returnal, the pistol's actually pretty good in this game. In Returnal, I found that most of the time the pistol was, anytime I had to have the pistol, I was at a disadvantage. In this game, it's not so bad. Now, please bear witness and know that your gameplay will differ a lot from mine. As I said, I've beaten the game. So by the time I come back to this first biome, Argent is pretty overpowered. I can delete most things with not too much effort. Even this guy right here is not going to take much effort to get deleted. Matter of fact, he's just going to get deleted in general. Your experience might differ a little bit, but the first biome is generally still pretty easy. If you would like to increase the difficulty of this biome, you can, like I said, you can use that modifiers to your advantage. The people who are finding the game too hard, I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but there is an option on gameplay for unlimited protection modifiers. When you cut this on, you can activate protection modifiers without having to balance them with the trial modifiers. and you can just put on the protection modifiers and enjoy the game, play the story, whatever it is that you want to do. The game does have a very flow-like state, similar to Returnal. You do kind of get in this flow of things where you're just kind of dodging, shooting, power weapon, absorbing, things like that, and it all feels very great. It's very balanced. I'm gonna count the ums in the video. How about that? First YouTube video, I'm gonna count the amount of nervous ums. All right, let's keep going here. Now, when you activate the Eclipse, all artifacts will become corrupted. So they will have a positive and a negative, similar to in Returnal you had the parasites. So basically, all artifacts become parasites in this game once you activate the Eclipse. So the Eclipse is another way to step up your challenge if the challenge isn't enough for you. If it's not there for you, it does make the enemies a little bit more aggressive. It makes them a little bit stronger. It changes some of their projectiles into corrupted projectiles. That's alright though. We're gonna be... Again, we were just coming here for purposes of the video to get you guys some... To make sure I have something to talk over and show you guys some of this gameplay and explain some stuff to you. You can see just how easy this biome gets by the time Argent becomes almost maxed out. I haven't even maxed out the full armor matrix. I've kind of been deciding not to yet. Like, I've been purposely not filling out the armor matrix because I want the challenge to maintain. I feel like filling out the armor matrix all the way is going to make the game almost too easy, in my opinion. Maybe that's just me. I'm not sure. The modifiers, I have cut on a lot of the modifiers all at one time. They do make the game a lot more difficult. So whatever it is, you're just gonna get rid of him. And there we are. Argent just becomes a total badass after you get him pretty leveled up. After you fill out most of the armor matrix, he's pretty broken. At least on this, like I said, on this first biome, on this first level. Probably the second one too, honestly. We're gonna head in here. We're gonna go ahead and try and fill out the whole first floor and see how fast we can clear this first floor for you guys. I feel like Returnal, I feel like the challenge is there at both games, but I feel like the challenge takes just a bit longer to pick up in Saros is all it is. I feel like you need to get a little bit further in before the challenge does pick up. That's fine. I wanted it to exceed anyways. Yeah, how about that? I wanted the tolerance to be higher. Alright, let's go. Don't mind the suit. The suit talks to you a lot in this game. Gonna go ahead and run this. So this is the Nightmare Strain. These are a way to get a little bit more challenge out of the game. As I don't believe, I don't recall Returnal having anything similar to this. They did have like the little secret rooms that could like spawn in a pretty strong enemy sometimes, but it wasn't ever really a big deal. And with this crossbow, it makes it trivial. Also, no Nova projectiles are shot on the first level. So you don't have to deal with any red projectiles at all on the first level of the game. Nova doesn't even bother you yet. Novas are the projectiles that can't be dodged through or whatever. You have to parry it or well, I guess in the Nightmare Strain there are. The boss, you'll notice that the boss of the first floor doesn't shoot any Nova projectiles. Most of the enemies don't shoot any Nova projectiles. I believe it may just only be in the side of the Nightmare Strain. I could be wrong about that, but do not believe Nova projectiles exist in the first fight. Yeah, great, there's two. How exciting. No, but seriously though, this is just how broken Argent gets after you get finished with the game. This is just how broken that Argent is. You just begin deleting. No, I cannot see their health. But if that's one thing, another thing is that if you guys didn't know what it does, when she said tolerance exceeded, and I went from resilience to arrogance, he's now arrogant to the health bar of anybody else. His health is so large that, you know, well, his resilience to damage actually, but same thing, you know, it kind of, you know, max health, resilience to damage, they all play out in like the same manner. Just delete him real fast. I have so much Lucianite and nothing to do with it. I really hope they come up with a way, like a back way to spend your Lucianite, like something else other than the armor matrix that I can spend it on. I'm not sure what it would be. I'm sure they can come up with some ideas. Something cool that we can spend Lucianite on that's not... Is that how you guys say that word? I think it is. Something else that we can spend Lucianite on. Maybe more powerful modifiers that requires Lucianite to activate or something along those lines. I'm not sure really what they would do, but I have so much Lucianite from just sitting around. On Returnal, you know, the only permanent resource is ether, and with the ether you actually can end up spending it in game to uncorrupt items that are corrupt. You can uncorrupt those items, so there is a way to spend that permanent resource, whereas in Saros currently there is no way to spend that permanent resource right now, in which there's actually two permanent resources. There's the Lucianite and the Halcyon, or Halcyon, or whatever they call it, the little purple glowy stuff that you can pick up. So there might be some right here. No, that's okay though. And we'll take another weapon. How about that? How about that? Well, we just show you guys some other weapons for the hell of it. Let's go. We'll take that too. This doesn't lead anywhere, by the way. In Returnal, you did used to have shortcuts to other areas. What's that do? No, I'm good on. I'll take this one back. In Returnal, this did used to take, you know, some similar areas used to be shortcuts to other areas, but in Saros, this just leads to little pieces of loot that seem kind of pointless, but And the redraws are normally set close, like the redraw was right there, the chest was right here, you know, it's normally set close to something that you might need to get a redraw on that real quick. I don't know, maybe you didn't like what it dropped you. So, I'll still keep what I got right here, though, it's fine. Let's go. Let me at him. Let me at him. Come on. I am Prophet. Hear me roar. That's okay. We're not going to hear your roar today, though. We're going to focus on go ahead and taking you out real fast. We can finish off this video. But yeah, mostly that's I mean, some of the biggest comparisons I can make between the difficulty. This game takes a bit longer to build up the difficulty. Whereas Returnal, it does come at you a bit faster. I believe the game can, I mean, the first biome can be difficult, but once you get used to it, it's not that bad. But I believe Returnal does get difficult from the second biome forward. It is a lot more difficult. So, if you guys don't know what to expect out of this game, that's what you can sort of expect. You can expect to at least make it to the third or even fourth biome before there's any kind of big challenge, in my opinion. Now, the bosses are way better. The bosses are more challenging, and they're way better in this game. So the bosses are going to provide you a bit more challenge than some of these other games are, or some like the likes of Returnal, at least. Sorry guys, it's still early over here. I'll try and edit some of this stuff out. So yeah, the difficulty is definitely comparable to Returnal, just only really in the later stages of the game, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, check out this first boss. I'll stand here in this grass, so that this grass slows you down. I'll just stand here in the grass the whole time, and we'll still catch a win here. Working on him, working on him. There's one thing I really enjoy about this first boss fight is he does force you to shoot these little pods before you can actually damage him. That is one thing that even after Arjun becomes kind of totally broken, you can't just breeze your way through this guy immediately. You do have to deal with those those little pods, little tendrils before you can, whatever you want to call them. I don't know what you would call them, but they said we'll sit over here in the grass and deal with him. There he is. He's in his final phase. I'm sorry, son. And that's that, guys. As I said, you can see how easy the first biome gets after Arjun becomes totally cracked out broken, compared to Returnal, where you pretty much rely on the store, buying stuff from the store. You have to buy stuff from the store to raise your max health or raise your damage. Sometimes those random fabricators are sitting around that have like the damage protection increases, the damage increases, things like that. It's none of that here. It's all done from the armor matrix. So Argent ends up becoming pretty broken sooner or later. And with that, I think I will return to the passage. We'll give it a sec here. You guys can see these final stats. There's that summary real quick. And there you go. So those are my opinions about Saros to Returnal. I do think Saros is a little bit easier on the rise. I do think it gets more difficult as you go forward. I do think it gets a lot more challenging towards the end of the game. The bosses are definitely way more challenging. So if you were on the fence about is it going to be similar, the gameplay is definitely similar. The challenge is definitely similar. It's all there. So anyways, you guys enjoy. Have a good one. Take it easy. From yours truly, I'm out.